Do you have a big witch's spoon?
They were trying to annex that into Bell's Fire District at one point, but,
So technically, they don't have any.
no, they're in no man's land.
Cool.
Um,
They'll be glad to do it if they want to pay us some taxes.
The chillers,
We are live now.
Oh, never mind. Thank you,
Check.
Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nora. You are so pretty today.
was that recorded? Did you make sure and get that?
Okie dokie. Well, we got 20 seconds. The things we learn.
Right.
Go. Okay. So I'm going to call the meeting in order at 5:15. Please turn off all electronic devices. And if you would all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please have a seat. From now on, you're in charge. You're in charge of it. Roll call of committee. Josh Phillips, present. Missy Gilbert,
Here.
Victor,
Here.
Kristen,
Here.
Julie,
Here.
Tammy, excused, and Mr. Frank, excused. And Councilman DeLeon, I do not believe is going to be joining us tonight. Okay, moving forward, call to the public. I don't think we have any. I attended the county meeting today, and they had a lot called to the public. So, first things first, director's report. Obviously, Leanna is not here today. She's provided the director's report in front of you. For public record, obviously, congregate meals were 1,712 for the month of April. Home delivered meals was 2,005. They still have 16 volunteers, and I don't need to go through the rest of this, do I, Amy? All right. It's there for you to read. Obviously, if anyone else wants to read it, we can provide it for them. Is there any questions and comments on the director's report?
So I think just notable for the record that on May 26th, we're planning a Memorial Day tribute at the Senior Center. So for anybody watching this on YouTube and chooses to attend,
Yeah, it will be at noon, I believe.
I think it starts at 10:30. I think that's what she had on her
We're,
flyer.
we're starting, they're gonna start the ceremony at 10:30. The VFW will be doing a small ceremony there. I'm gonna be bouncing back and forth because we're also the day that we're doing the flags at the cemetery with the football team. So, myself and my chaplain will be there. We'll be giving our small, ceremony. We're gonna set up a POW MIA table at the senior center. We tried to think of something that would be great for Memorial Day that wasn't time and cost intensive, and that's the best thing we came up with.
When, May 26th at 10:30?
Yes, so so Memorial Day's Monday, but we're doing this on a Friday because Memorial Day, they will be closed, the actual Memorial Day, so.
also on this report is our scheduled meeting on the 24th, but we have changed that to today because that was a holiday. So, okay.
Okay, moving on, old business. We talked about fundraising, a couple different things. Obviously, Missy, the piggy is cut up and packaged. So please continue to sell your tickets if you have any. If you don't have any, let me know. And we will provide those for you. Veterans programs, I can actually kind of speak on this one. We had so I actually got in front of the county supervisors today and basically put it down that we need a veterans program in La Paz County that is not ran by the VFW or the American Legion or someone else. My focus mainly is on veterans in crisis. It seems to be we've had a huge uptick in the past 2 months of veterans in crisis. And the kind of undocumented SOP is that they call the VFW, I show up, try to talk the guy down, I call PD or SO, then they call the crisis center. Crisis center will evaluate them, and if they deem it necessary to Title 36 them, then we try to find them a home in Yuma or Mojave County. That is kind of unacceptable to me because 9 times out of 10, Yuma or Mojave County don't have the resources. So Jen or one of the other ladies over at the Rock, it's not called the Rock anymore, but they end up spending the night with them and trying to calm them down. We need to do more for our veterans, and the senior center is inundated with veterans. Obviously, they go there for their meals. I haven't figured out how we're going to incorporate the senior center, but once we get, how can I phrase this? We are going to have a veterans program by the time I leave Parker. I just haven't figured it out yet. But the senior center is going to be key and very pivotal in that role because they deal with veterans day in and day out. And it's not just the younger generation that are having these mental health issues, it's the older generation as well.
Josh, were you ever successful in getting a hold of that gal up at the vet center up in?
I was, and she is willing to come down, including the ladies who helped me at the Veterans Court. They're both from Mojave County, but they're feeling the strain right now too. Mojave County has 3 people for the entire county of Mojave County. Yuma has 2. And, we're running into the big thing. And I said it today during the county council or the county supervisors meeting. I know everything's based on population and we don't have the permanent resident numbers to support a program, but I'm hoping someone hears us that, yes, you're right. From April until August, we're 17,000 people. After August, we go up several 100,000 people, and we need the help. So she was willing to help. She just doesn't know how much she can help, which is pretty frustrating for me, but I understand you can only do so much in 24 hours. Is there any questions on either of those 2 programs? The hog sale, how's that going anyway? Do we have an estimate?
We don't, slow but sure.
Okay. So we are selling tickets. If you don't have tickets, please see Missy or Amy, or do you have tickets?
I don't have tickets.
Oh, see Missy or me,
Or the,
or the senior center,
the chamber.
or the chamber has
Chamber has
tickets as
tickets.
well.
And that takes place June, the raffle will be June,
Is that 4th or 5th? June 5th.
June
5th.
5th.
I could probably get some tickets.
Okay. Yeah, if you just want to swing by the Chamber of Commerce, or you can swing by Senior Center tomorrow and talk to
Go get tickets from Mandy.
Mandy. She'll sign them out to you.
I'll stop on my lunch break.
Yeah, so it's a lot of pig. It's a lot of pig.
Okay.
She did her job. Youth programs, continuing conversations with the Parker Explorers, the Police Explorers, the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. PACE. We haven't connected enough to make something happen of that. And we're still going to try because we are moving into the summer months, and we are going to need, kids are going to need something to do. Friends of the Senior Center, I attended the last meeting that they just had a couple weeks ago. There's a couple things we were talking about property, connexes, buildings. Property is their big focus right now, whether they can just donate it to the senior center or if they have to donate it to another 501c3. I'm letting them sort that one out on their, obviously I can give advice, but they're going to take it for what it is. They do have a new president elected and a new vice president. They will be taking over in September because they are going dark from June until September. So
Who is this again?
the president is,
Yoli Holt, the Friends of the Senior Center.
Oh, Friends of the
Yeah.
Senior Center.
so Yoli Holt is the president and the vice president is,
Is it Dolores?
No, it's the gentleman that sits next to Yoli,
Carrie Norris.
Kerry Norris. So they'll be taking over officially June 1st, but they go dark. But they said if anything comes up, they can communicate via email and Zoom meetings. They are excited about working with us. They're taking the lead from the previous president and vice president, and they're wanting to move forward. They do have a lot of changes though. Their treasurer stepped down. A lot of people left and moved, so it's going to be a growing thing for them. And then subcommittees. Do I have anything for subcommittees?
So I sit on the subcommittee for fundraising and events. All we have is the pig. Last week I met Mandy and Leanne at the senior center at like 6:30 in the morning, and we did repackage Miss Piggy. She came in Ziploc bags, so we did seal-a-meal bags on her. So she is ready for somebody. They're all labeled and pretty. So I have some pictures I'll share with you guys. There's quite a bit of meat.
I'm looking forward to it. You know, maybe Frank can actually get a kiss out of her now. I don't know. Sorry, too soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's all on our subcommittee.
He likes his ladies cold, doesn't he?
Yep, can't talk back. New business. The junior potpourri that we spoke about. I believe if some of you weren't here for that last month, what we were talking about doing is basically I guess, you know, the term is junior potpourri in the senior center during the summertime. Part of it being a youth. So the youth will have a table or a side of the tables, and then anyone else who wants to participate selling their wares. Still talking to the health department about our left and right lateral limits on what can be sold and can't be sold. And then we can move from there. But the kind of the drive is to get some youth in there. And then also kind of start teaching them, hey, if you want to run a business, you have to do this, you have to do that. You have to factor in packaging in time and, you know, whatever wares they want to sell, whether it's jewelry or trinkets or lemonade or whatever the case may be. We are kind of restricted on what they can and can't sell in there, obviously. But Jen and Marion have been kind of working with me. We're kind of trying to figure out what the yes list is and what the no list is. So, I mean, obviously, you know, we see a lot of tamale ads in town that can't really be sold in the city limits of Parker. But we're trying to find a happy middle ground. So that's a big thing. I think it's going to be good. We're still working on it, but we kind of need to pick the pace up. So if anyone wants to help me with that, that would be great.
I'm sorry, I missed the meeting last time, so I don't know anything about that.
Okay, so basically what we've said is we have talked about setting up a once a week craft bazaar, potpourri, whatever you want to call it, in the senior center, because no one wants to do anything outside in the summertime. And let the youth, whether it be through PACE or the Scouts or just people in general who want to do a summer, like I want to sell my beadwork or I want to sell my T-shirts I made or nails or whatever the case may be. And they, you know, they pay their $5 just like they would be of any other vendor or I forget what we said the price was going to be. It's going to be nominal for them. It's not a money maker for the senior center. It's more of an interactive thing to get youth involved with the elders and then maybe get some of the senior people go in there like, you know what, I like coming here. Maybe I want to sell something that I do. Or, you know, just get a little interaction with people and then get a kind of a revolving door into the senior center during our slow months.
And this would be once a week?
We're trying to decide if we want it to be once a week or once every 2 weeks or, you know, just something. Like I said, that, you know, the health department has to be involved. Town has to be involved. So we're trying to figure out what we can and can't do. But that way we can put out a flyer to the public. Hey, if you are interested in this, you know, please show up at this time. You can set up your booth. You can have your table space just like we do in town and in the parks in the wintertime.
So what kind of help do you need with that? Because,
Mainly just, you know, working with the health department, finding out what we can and can't do, finding out through the town. You know, just the legalities. That way we make sure everyone's on, you know, on the up and up. And we're not doing anything we're not supposed to be doing inside a public, a town-owned building. So, I can reach out to you and give you a little more input on what I
Yeah.
need.
School's over here, what, in a couple of weeks? I'm off for like 5 days, but I am gonna work the summer.
2 weeks and 4 days. Not that I'm counting.
Who's counting, huh?
Counting the days,
But I do work summer. And
Okay.
then in July, I know I'm going off to a conference, but,
Okay.
I think, I think our goal is to get the youth involved, but I do think that typically, your first event is small. So I could foresee that especially the youth, maybe not getting involved right away. And I don't think that we'd want a small turnout, so maybe we could open it up to the local crafters or direct selling businesses or, different people that have goods that can come. We've had the small business booths thing that we've done at the chamber put it on at the Western Park. So maybe those, mostly ladies as I remember, but those businesses could come and join in and that would help. They would promote their own. And so that creates a crowd as well.
Well, and last week you talked about, or no, last month you talked about trying to get like seniors and youth together, kind of mentoring and things. If you mix them up, like you'd mentioned, maybe having like a youth area and the other area, but if you were to, especially if it's so small, intersperse them, like purposely put a youth bead person next to a senior bead person, so that they're going to interact because they're going to be sitting there next to each other, so you're kind of forcing them to
Right.
because that way they can share and they can see and you'll naturally have that happen.
No, I think if we get the ball rolling, I think it's gonna kind of take off and progress because, again, we don't have, we spoke, I think what's kicked this idea off was an idea I saw somewhere else, and we don't have farmers markets in the summer. We don't have a lot of stuff. We have all these events, but we don't have a community events where, because like I said, it's too hot outside. No one wants to sit outside at noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon at Western Park. So maybe utilizing the space that we have at the senior center and getting them to interact. Like you said, a mentor program like, hey, you've been doing beadwork for 40 years and this young lady or man who just started, can maybe build a partnership and start a business together. That's kind of my vision. I'm having trouble getting vision on the paper.
Well, and since you're not trying to do it as a fundraiser necessarily, you could invite those people, those businesses that have done before, just let them come and whatever you have to have, like, do you need $5? That's all. Don't make them pay like $50 because you're not trying to earn the money. So just try to get them to come, and then if they come, they will
Then it grows.
bring people. Yeah. So
No, it's, we're not using this this is not a fundraiser. This
Yeah.
is not because then that turns into other things. And then kids aren't going to be able to, pay even a $25 booth fee.
right.
For some families, that's a lot of money. No, this is definitely just trying to get that interaction and get that thing going where this could roll all year long. And then when the winter visitors come back, we tell them, hey, this is a program we have on Thursday afternoons or whatever day it is. And, I'm sure a lot of our senior or our winter visitors will be very excited about that.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's getting ideas on paper at this point. And this year is running away from me fast.
So what is our perspective start date? I mean, do you guys have a, Memorial Day is 2
Well,
weekends away, I think.
The way I look at it, in true Parker fashion, I'd rather not do this knee jerk at the last minute. Even though we do very well when we do that, I would really like to do a projected date of maybe the second week of June. That gives us time. We get through Memorial Day, we get through the pig fundraiser, and it gives us, Mandy does great flyers. You do great flyers. We could get the flyers out there. It's just getting the idea and giving us the month of, well, the rest of the month of May, and the first part of June. Get it out. I would like to get the flyers out next week, if possible. And I'm sure Mandy's gonna kill me when I come talk to her tomorrow about this. But she can make it happen. That's what she does. And then we can at least publicize it for a month or a couple weeks and be like, hey, if you want to do this, we can do this. I'll get guidance from the health department, and I'm sure Jen will come in and I'm sure Jen Aspect can come in and teach these younger kids, like, hey, if you want to do salsa, or if you want to do tamales, or if you would want to do this,
Will
this,
be food, that was gonna be.
no,
my
no, no.
question.
My point is, if they want to do it, this is the steps you would have to do to be able to sell it in town. You know, we can't break the rules and say, hey, yes, you can bring your tamales and salsa in if they don't have the correct permits.
That's right.
So,
Okay.
what date did I just say?
Second week of June.
Thank you. Sorry, I've been,
I'd like to mention that a lot of the complaints that I hear is like, I didn't hear about it. It wasn't advertised. You know, the Seroptimus just had the most beautiful tea that I attended. Were you there? It was wonderful, but the attendance, like everything.
it's,
And I talk to people, and what do they say? Oh, it was in the paper. I say, I found about it through word of mouth, but
you know,
one complaint that our Parker rights, whatever,
I hear it all the time.
that we don't advertise.
I hear it all the time, and I look at them, I'm like, yes, we do. You just don't look.
You're not seeing it.
We have it on social media. It's on KLPZ. It's in the newspaper. Would you like me to hand a flyer out to every resident in Parker?
Yeah.
It's you. I understand, and trust me, this is a point of contention with me with the VFW. Oh, I didn't know. Well, I put out flyers. I told you on this. I told you on this. Would you like me to come and call each individual resident? If you want to participate, you know, there has to be a little back and forth effort on the people because
That's just an excuse.
it is like, oh, I didn't know. Like, really funny. That's because everyone else, your neighbor did. You know, I hear it all the time. And come on, people. Like, read a newspaper. You're all on social, and I don't want to hear it. Everyone's on social media nowadays. You know, I've
I
got,
think another thing is the chamber. The chamber has a list. So if people are looking to do things, they can look at the chamber calendar. That's another good thing that we can refer people to is, you know, if you're looking for something, or just check the calendar once a month and you can kind of stay up to date on.
I mean, unless we decide we want to buy a big revolving bulletin board over at, you know, the hospital and to start running ads, I don't know what else to tell people. You know, for example, we did the veteran stand down this spring, and there was a huge billboard on both sides of town. And then I had people, well, I didn't know. I was like, you drive past there, right? I'm like, and they're like, yeah. I was like, you had your eyes checked lately? Like, it's a rather large billboard. I don't.
How's your
We'll be
vision?
having glasses soon.
Yeah. I don't, and I hear you, and I hear the same thing with a lot of programs. I hear like, oh, there's nothing to do for the kids, and I kind of get mad. I throw my hand up though. Like, there's this. Well, I didn't know. Well, obviously you didn't put any effort in. And this is Parker, and I know that's a point of contention. I'm not gonna get myself in trouble on a recorded meeting on what I think about that. But you can only promote it so much.
So a quick brainstorm. If we call this the junior potpourri, that might leave an idea that it's only for kids. And I think the idea is to have both. And I think we have a good amount of room there. So I think that may be limiting us.
Junior, senior?
Or how about
Yeah,
summer potpourri?
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it might roll in, and then we can have a fall potpourri, you know, winter, you know, we can transition, and then they can make their fall stuff. you know.
Indoor,
And it keeps
summer.
it fresh.
Air conditioning potpourri.
Indoor.
We'll Definitely
In the
promote,
door.
definitely promote the air conditioning portion of it.
Summer potpourri, that
you know,
sounds like fun.
So, yeah, let's,
Something to do in the summer.
okay, well, since Missy's so good at coordinating flyers,
See, you want me to talk to Mandy?
yeah, because she's already doing like 4 flyers for me.
Okay, I'll take some heat off of you.
Thank you.
So we're gonna call it the summer potpourri. And what day? We talked about a weekend. We talked about a day during the week.
Well, I think I remember Leanne saying if we did weekend, then that gets into, we have to have a town employee there.
Yes.
I don't think a weekend's gonna work very well.
So we can kind of look at the May calendar and see Activities that she has going on, like Monday is aerobics, stretch and tone. 5:15 is us. Tuesday, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, and 12:30, they have things going on. So we kind of get an idea of what their weekdays look like, and maybe we can kind of,
So, Amy, this is a question for you. Business hours at the senior center are from when to when
they close at 3.
tentatively?
I think they open their doors at 8.
And then shut the button off at 3-ish?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess my next following question is, if we go past 3 o'clock and then we have to get into the,
That should be fine for
Okay.
one night. Yeah.
okay, I think afternoon, because, if we're wanting children there, then we have to have parents getting off work. They have to be able to get their kids' stuff together. They have to be able to take them over there. I think if we try to do this in the middle of the day, I don't think we're gonna have a lot of kid participation, just because children aren't gonna be able to come over there. What do you think, without pushing the limit of overtime and,
I think maybe like a 5:30 to 7:30 event might be doable.
okay?
But Leanne will tell you this firsthand. It's lunch and it's go home. So for users of the senior center, so their activities are more focused in that before lunchtime.
Right.
They do the crafts after lunch, and that's very well attended. But for the most part, they have trouble getting attendees at afternoon events.
Well, like I said, I don't think if we try to do it any earlier, we're not gonna get a youth participation. I think obviously we could try 5:30, 7:30. Obviously, we have to ask Leanne if she's okay with that. And if she would have some of her employees want to hang out and, do that. But it's, I just, even when I coached Little League, if I tried to make practice at 4, I never had anyone there because parents couldn't get their kids to practice. So,
agree.
I really think we have to push it towards the evening hours, and we might lose some in seniors, but we might gain some in children. And then once the seniors start hearing about it, maybe they're like, oh, maybe I can push my bedtime up a little bit.
And I think this piece was designed to be more of that community center rather than the senior center. I mean, we're really trying to gear it towards the youth. So I think that maybe not necessarily focusing so much on the seniors in this particular event, and our focus has been the youth, and then tying them to other things. So if they're junior entrepreneurs and they're looking at different business ideas, they'll be able to look around and see what others do as well, go around, talk to people. And then we're also providing an environment for these people who are small businesses that want to bring their goods, that need a place or a platform to advertise. So I think that 5:30 to 7:30 is great. I think that it's starting to, I can't even say that out loud. I want to say it's starting to cool down, but probably not.
Well, then you're gonna have to count in some time for them to set up and take down.
Yeah, well, I mean,
But the event itself, 5:30, 7:30
Yeah.
sounds good, just a couple hours.
to keep it short, and I was just looking at the calendar, and, maybe this first month that we do it, we don't do it every Friday, maybe we do it. I wrote down 2 dates, the 9th and the 23rd. It's every other Friday.
Yeah, and
You
you
know,
can try it and see what happens, you know?
Toss it out there, get it on the calendars,
Yeah.
call KLPZ, I'll send up a banner on what next time my guys jump out of an airplane. I don't know how else we could promote it,
They
but
need to know who are they contacting?
Probably the senior center.
yeah, it would have to be the senior center. It would have to be Leanne, because I can't tell them when they can and can't go in there. That's her deal, and that's something we'll have to talk to Leanne about.
Okay, because you'll
Oh.
have, from your flyer, you'll need to give out a number and you'll find
Yeah.
people.
I have a feeling this is gonna be a Mandy thing. She's gonna love us so dearly. And Mandy, if you're watching this, I'm sorry already.
She's not.
There's
She'll be
a lot of-
completely surprised.
Surprise.
Surprise.
Happily
So, but yeah, like
surprised.
the food, are they gonna be able to do food?
Well,
Are they
that's the
gonna be
thing
able to
is,
sell
there's,
cookies or whatever?
well, and that's the thing is, selling any type of baked good or any type of cooked thing, unless you have a La Paz County permit, no, you can't.
Get
And
a
that,
food card, don't you?
well, it's not just that. You have to have a permit
It
to
has
sell.
to be prepared in
So,
a
yeah,
commercial
it has to
kitchen.
be prepared in a commercial kitchen, which we've seen people get around that using a church kitchen or something like that. So it has to be prepared in a commercial kitchen. Of course, you have to have your food card, but also you usually have to go through the health department for a permit.
Yeah.
So,
It's not, and this is a thing, I know that this is a very hard, painful lesson a lot of people in Parker just have not came to grips with in the past 2 years. It's not, you can just make it at home and take it and sell it anymore. It's just, that time has come and gone.
We need to write down those things so that whoever's answering at the senior center, like if it's Amanda, whoever, that they can tell the person that,
Yeah.
well, this, and then, because this is learning about business, so let them then make that choice about, okay, maybe I don't want to sell my cookies, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe there's something
No,
else I could do.
I think this first one, obviously, and I will go and talk to Jen tomorrow and confirm, hey, what are the yeses and what are the nos? Do they, if they, without a food permit, a food handler's card, what can they do?
Right, and is it the way we advertise it? I mean, can we advertise it as a bake sale or a, you know?
I don't think we can advertise it as a bake sale, and this is just coming from a 501c3 runner. You have to be very careful on when you do stuff like that. There's little nuances now that, selling goods and stuff like that, if we want to do a bake sale, I hate to say it, we go across the street in the other lot because we have a permit for that organization and not a permit for the other organization. So it's very intricate nowadays, a lot more than it used to be 3-4 years ago.
Because
So,
people are gonna want to like buy a water bottle, or are
well,
they gonna be able-
prepackaged things are different.
Yeah.
so bags of chips,
Yeah.
water bottles, sodas, those are all prepackaged.
Okay.
So, but
then
if you bake them in your house and you are preparing it yourself in your kitchen, that's
That's a no-go.
We just need to make sure and pass that then on to whoever's giving out the information.
Yeah, no, and luckily Mandy and all the ladies there they understand that because they
Good,
do this every day.
good.
So, yeah, there's a lot of things you can sell and there's a lot of things you can't sell, and it's just the way of the modern world.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can tentatively agree, actually, we kind of need to vote on this, do we not?
Yeah, I mean, you can take a vote on the days, I mean.
So I need a motion and a second to approve the making of the flyers and getting the information out for the 9th and 23rd of June from 5:30 to 7:30 of doing a summer potpourri event at the Parker Community Center.
I'll make a motion that we approve and move forward to make the flyers for a indoor summer potpourri event on June 9th and June 23rd from 5:30 to 7:30 with a setup and close down time outside of those hours. Also that we are selling goods and our purpose is to create partnerships with our youth and the leaders and business owners in our community.
And one point of clarification, just for public record, the senior center is not selling anything. Individual groups are selling stuff.
Yes.
I second that motion.
Julie seconds.
All right, do I have any further discussion?
Sounds good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, well, that was a lot. Phew, okay, moving on, discussion and action approve or deny the April 17th, 2023 meeting minutes. If you flip your agenda over, you will see a copy of the minutes from the last meeting. We can go ahead is there any discussion on these minutes? It should be the second page on your agenda right here. So that's our front page.
And you know, these come to you too as well before the meeting, so you guys have them all as well.
I know, you thought it was this meeting, no.
Is there any discussion on the minutes or amendments that need to be made?
I'll motion to approve the April 17th, 2023 meeting minutes for the Senior Center Advisory Board.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Sorry, Victor will have to abstain because he wasn't
Oh,
present.
he was not here. Sorry.
Yeah.
I
So-
second it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Sorry, buddy.
Finally got one in
So
there.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion passes. Okay, moving on, future topics. I think we've kind of talked about future topics already with the summer potpourri. Is there any other future topics that would be like to be discussed right now?
So,
No, this is for the next meeting.
Right, sorry. Let me rephrase that. Is there any future topics that you would like to add to next month's meeting?
There you go.
so with that said, keeping in mind that this will be our last meeting before our first event on June 9th. So if there's any thoughts or anything that we should be discussing, now's the time before we adjourn today.
So are we gonna, are we gonna like, do you need any help? Like, how are we gonna do this? Are you just gonna do it and we'll say, yeah, good job? Or do you want us to do something?
No, I mean, obviously, if you want to help, obviously, that's what we're here for. I plan to reach out to the Friends of as well to see if, I spoke to them last time about it. I don't know if they're going to participate or not. But yeah, once we get the flyers done, we'll gladly reach out to everyone. Hey, we have flyers. If you want to hand them out to your friends and put it out there. Oh, and there's Frankie. If setting up tables and everything else, that's going to be minimal. The way I kind of look at it is if you want to set up a booth, then you have to set up your table. We can all say we've all done fundraisers before and no one set our tables up for us. So I think that's something for the kids to learn, like, hey, tables are over there, go ahead and set your table up. And then if you want to participate, come and buy something. I think that's great. I think lead by example. I'll be there because as everyone will tell you, I'm a sucker for kid stuff. So that's where half my paycheck goes normally anyway.
I'll be there and I'll be happy to volunteer. So I think volunteering will be greeting people. I think we'll need all hands on deck, because essentially it is our fundraiser, or not fundraiser, our community event. So I think it's important that people see, our advisory board and who we are. Julie, have her hand up.
I was gonna say that July we're dormant, so we don't have a meeting in July, right?
Is July the month we chose?
July was the month we chose.
Was it?
Okay,
We don't have a meeting in July.
okay.
Okay. Well, and obviously anything we're dormant.
Good to know.
We can speak on email, we can go through Amy.
Well, and so with that said, June will be our first, we'll come back and say, how was it? Do we choose to proceed?
Okay, so like we did with our, the pig and everything, remember how we had little mini meetings? So maybe we're not having a meeting like this per se, but if you feel that we need to get together and just, after this happened for maybe the first or second time or whatever, or even before,
That's a good point.
if you want to get us together and get us more united and get more input and
As long as it's less than 3 members. We can't-
Three and no more.
Yeah, we cannot meet as a whole contingent. That's why when we were doing the other stuff, we cannot meet as a full organization.
so it's just,
So we can split it up in 3 and 3, and then Frankie will show up when Frankie shows up.
I've been in Litchfield Park today.
There you go.
Sure, yeah,
With
Frankie.
80 and 82-year-old
We get the,
kids.
Yes, so Julie is correct. We did vote in the November 7th meeting to go dark for the month of July.
Perfect.
Thank you.
flyers done, and then I'll try to promote it to those vendors and the youth programs and things like that.
And we'll get it out to Juanita over at KLPC, and we'll get it to, the chamber would be a big one, obviously, because they know all those vendors.
Yeah, and they can put it out, they can circulate it as well.
Yeah.
And they, again, like Josh said, they had that bazaar, so they have probably a list of contacts that they can help us with.
Yeah.
at the senior
sounds good.
center, do we need to put something coming up event?
But there's a
that
board that
help?
they have there that we can, they have an event board at the senior center.
Yeah, 'cause they'll do a flyer and they'll put it in this thing for June.
Okay.
This is Maine, and they'll make, like she does this.
Yes,
I can probably take a flyer and put it in the teacher's lounge at the schools.
that'd be great.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah. they can tell the kids. Yes, that would be wonderful.
Well, and that's the big thing is, if we want to get this in front of in front of all the kids, we only have 2 weeks of school left. Less than 2 weeks of school left. So,
It'd be tight.
yep. So, it's one of those things. So, and I will take the heat round. I will go talk to Mandy tomorrow because I realize I have to go to the senior center anyway. So I will let her yell at me and she can throw her little octopus at me because that's what she usually does. So
She's a trooper, though.
she is. That's why I checked because if you guys don't know, Mandy has a little octopus in her office and it's either red or blue. So red means she's not happy. Blue means she's happy. And when I walk in, it's usually red. So
And we hide the red,
Yeah.
replace it with the blue.
So any other things you would like to add? Okay, just remember, if you do have email communication or anything else, it has to be 3 people or less. We cannot email as a whole contingent. And yeah, it's moving into the summer. This is our slow time. Everyone take a break, kind of catch your breath. I will be dealing with insurance and VFW stuff for the next month and a half. So
Right?
yeah. If no one else, next meeting. Sorry.
Yeah, so our next meeting falls on June 19th, which is a holiday for the town. Do we want to try the following Monday?
So that would be,
Oh, no, I lie. Streets and traffic. Myself like double it.
can we possibly do it June 12th? Or yeah. No, that's the week before. Because June 12th would be right after the first of this potpourri event, so we could actually use that to discuss and get any further ideas.
We could probably, is Monday the only day that works for everyone?
I could do it any day that week,
As long as I plan ahead, I can do
I
it.
don't have my calendar.
as soon as Missy reminds me of when I need to be there.
So maybe, let me get with Leanne and maybe the 14th or 15th of June?
Is 14th and 15th good for everyone else once we lock the date down?
That's a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Wednesday or Thursday? Okay, Frankie, you good with that?
As long as I don't have a transport.
You'll be here in spirit.
I'm gonna be starting to work in the summer. I'm gonna be custodian for summer school.
Okay.
I think my hours are 10:30 to 6:30, so I might be a little late.
Okay.
I mean,
No, we can accommodate.
all right, we'll see where we're at.
I'll get with Leanne and see, and we'll send out an email and see
Okay.
what works best
So
for
what
everybody.
day? We haven't confirmed that?
14 or 15.
It's not set yet, Frank. We'll once we confirm it, we'll put it out to everyone. So it's either gonna be a Wednesday or Thursday, the 13th or 14th,
14th or 15th.
14th or 15th.
I've been slammed and I gotta go again tomorrow.
What's good for you?
Huh?
It's good for you.
Keeps you out of trouble, Frank.
If there's no other discussion, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 5:57. I thank you all for coming, and I will see you on the 9th for the first summer potpourri event, which I just texted Leanne about, so she knows now.
9th of,
June
June.
at 5:30. So you have no excuse not to be there, Frank, at the senior center. And there's no pigs to be kissed, so you're fine.
All right. On that note.